Okay, today we got to swap out this rear differential in James's Sportsman1000 Highlifter. The diff, I'm guessing that the vent line might have gotten clogged up or something. Anyway, there's a lot of mud and dirt in the rear diff. I took it out already, rebuilt it, put it back in there, but since there's no shims, no adjustability to it, the gear faces were already worn too far through. So even with new bearings, the thing still clanks and clunks, and I'll try to show that real quick. Here's a little bit of before pictures. So I put it all back together. And the thing shifts like back and forth, the rear ring gear. So it sounds good in some spots, doesn't sound good in others. It's not tight. Ended up putting on insurance and got a whole new rear diff here. New diff is obviously new, so there's nothing wrong with it. We're gonna go ahead and swap this back out again, which sucks because it was already all taken apart, all put back together. The whole belt housing has to be taken off, the outer cover, the clutches, and then the inner clutches, which then have to be resealed and all that junk again. So luckily everything should come out easy because it was just done. So let's go ahead and just get to it. Okay, so it's definitely way easier the second time you take it out, and the tips and tricks to it is that there are no tips and tricks. You got to take everything out. Makes it way simpler instead of trying to like pry it over the belt box, which you can't do. You can separate maybe this here and pull it out, which is still just, you would be separating so much that you're going to be bending or breaking something else. Don't do it. Just take off the inner and outer of that clutch all the way around. Yeah, it sucks. We're going to clean off all the silicone that I already put on there. Re-silicone up the belt housing, put the new diff in, torque everything down. And here's the difference between the two. This one here is just nice and smooth throughout the whole band. No play. This one here, you can hear that choppiness. I can move the ring in and out some, and it takes away slightly, but that little hit never goes away because of the difference in the pinion. So kind of new is about it. I mean, I hated it for them, but like I said, it just ate away the faces. Can't adjust it. It is what it is. I could probably get by and make it tighter, but it's not going to be right. I'm just going to keep on chewing it up. And I prefer it to be right instead of Band-Aid. So you can even hear like that sound. Of course, the faster you go, the more prominent that is, and it's not good. And also, I do like that silicone still. I use the GE Type 2 window and door black silicone. That's what it looks like. I've been using this stuff for years on everything from snorkels, air boxes, belt boxes, everything. It seals up nicely. It comes off nicely. This stuff is still pretty new, so it is what it is after a certain point. But it peels off nicely. And then on certain points too, you can just kind of like scrape it off or rub it off. It doesn't adhere as nicely just because it doesn't need to be able to pull stuff off. Nice little gasket, like I said. Cleanup is super easy. So that's what I use on, like I said, everything. Other than this, that's actually Yama Bond. It's the high temp Yama Bond. I think Yama Bond high temp is black and just the other stuff is gray. So on gaskets like that with oil and stuff, I don't use that. I use actually Yama Bond, Honda Bond, and from there. So, I mean, it looks like Polaris here is using some kind of Polaris Bond, Polari Bond. Okay, with both sides cleaned up, get all that silicone off there and reapply that bead. I like to go ahead and put it on here and let it sit just for a minute or so. Let that harden up just a little bit and put it on this side of the case before you put the cover on there. Because there's no way that you're gonna be able to fit this cover like all the way through and without hitting the surrounding edges, the sealant surfaces. You just can't do it because it's gonna hit here, it's gonna hit here, you're gonna rub it somewhere. So go ahead and put it on this side, slap it on. Before you actually seal it, go ahead and get it, level to it, then put on your bolt and go ahead and just hand tighten up like 2 parts, one up here, one down here. Suck it in nice and tight, and from then on out, just go ahead and go all the way around. New diff is in, very nice and easy. Go ahead and do your vent line before you actually seat it and actually bolt it in, just because this is so tight up in here. It is kind of hard to put on the clamp on your vent line there. Okay, when you go to put on the drive shaft, it's a whole lot easier to go ahead and torque your nuts for the drive shaft right here, these Allen heads. Go ahead and torque them from here so you can pull down right here instead of trying to fight against this bar over here. This one gets torqued down to 40 foot-pounds. This one here is at 45. Go ahead and torque those down. Be set to go. This is left-hand thread, so it's left to tighten. This one is regular, right to tighten. Okay, project is complete. It is a nice little evening project. It took me about 4 or 5 hours. I did, like I said, already do it before, so it was definitely easier the second time. Go ahead and just, you know, just dive into it. Like I said, take off the belt box, everything on the belt box. All the upper A-arms got to come off, as you saw in the video. Slap the new one in, oil that up. Everything is torqued, everything is put on. The thing with the Highlifter though is that you do have to remove those stock snorkels like that one there and back down, and the floorboard. Not a big deal, it's just a little bit more time consuming. Pull those all out, torque everything back down like I say, put it back in, ready to go. So now this one can finally get out of here, and this is James, a loyal customer of mine, a good friend of mine, a good riding buddy of mine, and he is actually bringing in a Ranger 1000 to get built up along with mine here, but all these parts here and everything else are his. So that's the next build coming up. This one I think is keeping. He's not going to sell this one. He sold the RS1s, he sold the 800 Razor, so just a constant ongoing thing with him. It's just, I love it. Guy treats me good. So moving on to the next project, which is finishing up that one, make room for his.